Let us begin our next session for the day. I kindly request Dr. Vidya from the Department of Social Work to introduce our next moderator.
Thank you, Sam. Before we move on to the next session, may I request Dr. Father Joseph Varghese Kusumalayam, Mr. Nolan Pinto, Ms. Sreeja MS to kindly occupy your seats on the dais. Audience, can we give them a round of applause, please? A good afternoon, delegates, the dignitaries on the dais. We are here now to introspect on a new topic that is prepared and panicked, developing a church crisis communication plan. To moderate this session, we have an eminent personality amongst us, Dr. Father Joseph Varghese Kusumalayam, CMI. Father has been associated with Sacred Heart College since 2014. He holds a master's degree in English language and literature and doctoral degree from the University of Mumbai. Before transitioning to academia, Father Joseph served for nearly 6 years in the Diocese of Mumbai as a parish priest. At Sacred Heart College, Father Joseph has been actively involved in both curricular and extracurricular initiatives. He served as the NSS Program Officer and was consecutively honored with the Best NSS Program Officer Award by the Mahatma Gandhi University for continuously 2 years. Father Joseph's scholarly work includes publications in Scopus Indexed and UGC Care listed journals, and since 2021, he has been serving as a research guide under Mahatma Gandhi University. His research and social engagement focus strongly on environmental awareness and sustainable development. A sports and fitness enthusiast, Father Joseph is an accomplished marathon runner, having completed more than 20 half marathons. As a cyclist, his longest expedition from Kochi to Kanyakumari stands as a testament to his commitment to promoting health and sustainable living. Currently, Dr. Father Joseph Varghese Kusumalayam, CMI, serves as the Vice Principal and IQAC Coordinator at Sacred Heart College. A warm welcome to you, dear Father. May I request Sister Noella to hand over a sapling to our moderator and to the delegates. Can we have a round of applause once again, please? Thank you, Sister Noella. I request Father Joseph Varghese Kusumalayam to kindly take over.
Good afternoon. I must say, everyone looks so fresh. Either our lunch was blessed, or the Holy Spirit is preparing us for a resurrection. Maybe that can be one of the reasons. And I came all the way from Kochi up to Kannu on bike, thereafter in a train. So I love traveling bike. So my dear friends, it's an afternoon hour, and all of us know there is all the chance to sleep, but then we'll have a conversational, interactive session. No more lecture for this program. It is my privilege to welcome you to this important panel discussion titled Prepared, Not Panicked, Developing a Church Crisis Communication Plan. We live in a time when information travels faster than truth. In today's India, much of the mainstream media is owned or influenced by powerful business groups and political interest. Narratives are often shaped not by facts, but by who funds or frames them. In such an environment, the church, with its values of truth, compassion, and justice, often finds itself misunderstood, misinterpreted, or even targeted. This is why crisis communication has become not just a public relations exercise, but a pastoral necessity. When crises strike, whether moral, financial, institutional, or social, how our response can either deepen the crisis or restore credibility. Our task as leaders, communicators, and educators is not just to panic, but to prepare, to tell our story with integrity, transparency, and empathy. Today's discussion is about being prepared, not panicked, about building communication systems rooted in truth, empathy, accountability, and faith. Now, let me introduce our panelists. It is an honor for me to introduce Mr. Nolan Patrick Pinto, a seasoned communications professional and journalist with over 15 years of experience across broadcast media, corporate communications, and strategic public relations. Nolan's career reflects a deep commitment to impactful storytelling and strategic communication, from anchoring and reporting key political events in South India with India Today TV and News 9 to shaping brand narratives as Deputy Director for Content and Branding at South First. He also hosts a podcast called Let Us Talk Water. Academically, Nolan holds a master's degree in war studies, military history from the University of Glasgow, Scotland. A thoughtful communicator, strategic thinker, and respected journalist, Nolan embodies the bridge between traditional journalism and modern brand of storytelling. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Nolan Patrick Pinto, a leader who continues to shape the way stories are told and brands are built. Welcome, Nolan. I'm happy to introduce Ms. Sreeja MS, an award-winning television journalist, accomplished news anchor, multimedia storyteller, and strategic partnership leader with over 14 years of experience in the media industry. Sreeja has reported and anchored from some of the world's most significant events, from the World Economic Forum at Davos to Global Investor Summit across India. Her compelling storytelling, incisive interviews, and dynamic live coverage have earned her multiple ENBA awards, including for her outstanding reporting on the Sri Lankan economic crisis. Currently serving as Anchor Principal Correspondent and Content Head at Times Network, she also leads strategic partnerships, driving high-impact collaborations with governments and multinational corporations across India and abroad. A graduate of the MICA and Christ Jayanti College, Sreeja brings together journalistic excellence, digital strategy, and communication expertise, making her one of the most versatile media professionals in India today. Please join me in welcoming a powerful voice in Indian journalism, a storyteller with global vision, and a media leader shaping the future of news and communication. Ms. Sreeja, welcome. Let us begin by hearing from our distinguished panelists, Mr. Nolan Patrick Pinto and Ms. Sreeja, Ms. MS. Welcome. Over to you.
Good afternoon, all, respected principals, fathers, and sisters. Thank you for the immense trust that you have in us for inviting us for this wonderful session and a very pertinent session that we see it. My name is Sreeja MS, and my fellow journalist, Nolan Pinto. For over nearly 2 decades, I must tell, we have been journalists covering everything from the political desk to ground zero investigations. In fact, we have built stories. We have come up with narratives. And in fact, what's most important here is, how quickly a reputation of an institution, right, can be challenged with just one news cycle. Over to you, Nolan.
Thanks, Sreeja. In fact, we have seen how stories can either build or break, like Sreeja mentioned, the reputation of an institution, depending on how the institution responds in a crisis. It can either maintain the legacy, credibility of the institution, or it can destroy all that you have built in maybe decades or years in that one particular moment by how you respond.
Yes, in fact, we have been at the forefront of reporting some of the most crucial, important news for the news channel. And I hope you understand and you know what we are talking about, right? In fact, we have reported some of the sensitive, high-stake news stories across the country and how first-hand information comes out, especially of the institutions. We're particularly talking about the church institutions here. It comes sometimes under the blinding glare of the media spotlight, sometimes emerging with integrity, in fact, which is impacted. While we see it basically as legacy that's being defined, but sometimes when news is not set right, your legacy, no matter how many other years that you have built upon, can be actually damaged, right?
Very true. But you know what? Let's put this in perspective. The single biggest, I'm not going to go into negative per se, but the single biggest mistake, again, I see is the response that comes out. For instance, an incident has taken place. Your first headline is always about the incident. So-and-so has taken place in so-and-so institution. That's fine. You can't do anything about it. But the problem is the next headline. And the next headline that we have normally seen as TV reporters in the past is that no comment, or the principal is unavailable to speak to you at the moment. In that unavailability is when the damage actually takes place. Because you're not being available, sometimes perception matters very, very important. The people on the outside believe that you're trying to hide, or you're trying to cover your guilt.
I'm sure in the recent past, everyone have come across the news with respect to whether that is church vandalism. We're talking about conversions. I also know that, for the fact of the matter, how the anti-conversion story blew across, not just Karnataka, but across India itself. That became the topic of discussion. How exactly the institutions responded? Can any one of you all tell? Anybody? The ball is in your court. I'm talking, we are media. We want a headline. But how would you all react?
See, it was during the winter session in Belagavi that it was held that they actually thought of all these things. And then the government finally came out with the anti-conversion bill. So at least one or two of you all, how did you all respond to that when the media came and approached you?
Did any one of you all respond? Do you think a law as such was a necessity? Conducted rally, good. How did you respond to media's allegations with respect to conversions happening? Anybody? Okay, the problem is this.
I think
on the representation, Archbishop Peter Machado spoke in the interview.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. You blame the TV for?
Reporter commenting about that.
I think, yes.
Vast majority of us, we find that is not correct. What the laws are being passed or acts are being passed, we feel it's not correct.
Okay.
They are not to go out and speak. Rather, we sit in the place and we comment on that.
Okay, now that you're having this conversation with us, have you come out in the open and spoken about it? Why not?
Yes, it is, I think, Archbishop. Yeah, I'm here. Nolan.
Okay.
Nolan, I'm here. I'm Father Francis.
Yes,
yeah.
tell me.
So Archbishop has came out vehemently to condemn this anti-conversion bill, as well as he has come out saying that normally we are not doing conversion, but conversion are taking place. That's what he came out with that statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
great.
it's very good he came out with a statement, but I'm sure he, as the Archbishop, spoke to the media. And I'm sure reporters in various, not just Bengaluru or Mangaluru, in different districts, in different places, would have approached institutions. We just want to know, did you all speak to the reporters then?
The point that we are trying to make here is, at most scenarios, right? In most scenarios.
There is a PRO for the region. So
Yes,
PRO
Mr.
came
Kantara.
out because at that time PRO was for the Faustin Lucas Lobo.
Okay.
Now presently he is the director of for the Mullahs.
Okay.
So he was the PRO and he gave clear idea about this whole anti-conversion bill and the ongoing process of this whole issue as such.
Okay, the point here we're trying to make is, if you notice, all of you all have answers to give, saying that we did speak, we, took out in a rally, and we had somebody come out with a spokesperson, talk about it, have an opinion, a statement, right? But do you realize that all of this was reactive?
I have a question.
Yes?
Here. I'm sure this is one reaction. I believe I'm putting back the ball into your court.
Okay.
Media also needs to stand for at least neutral.
Okay.
But if 90% of media swings towards what is not true, what is not real,
Yes.
and stands up, I don't want to name channels,
Okay.
but if there is no truth and false stories are publicly said, louder, more viewed, where do you ask a minority to stand for truth? They will stand.
I absolutely agree. In fact, louder. Okay, the louder the noise, that's what is being told as a story. Now, let me tell you, I'm coming to the point.
Let me put back the question. How
Okay.
many media people really stood for channels that will stand for truth? There are many who left media channels and started their own channels because they preferred their integrity
Okay.
than the money that they would get in being a well-paid job. I mean,
We do agree with
Yes.
it. We are not definitely denying that.
So I have
the
an
point,
answer for that actually.
Yes.
And that's the reason there's a crisis communication plan that every church institution needs to have, because you cannot expect reporters or the media, like you mentioned, and that is a hard reality, to be unbiased. They are going to be biased. They are going to try and twist what you're asking. But if you have a plan in place, you will be able to manage that. That's the reason you need
So
to
the
have
point that we're trying to make here is, in simple terms, response to stimuli. What it means, what we're trying to say is, there is an incident within a matter of 24 hours. But for a news channel, for a newspaper, it doesn't matter. It's not a 24 hours job, right? I mean, we are just not waiting for 24 hours to be reported. We have to report quickly at the snap of the finger. But when an institution does not come up with a statement, at least something, we're not talking about be defensive, we're not talking about attack somebody or level allegations, but more importantly, to try and acknowledge that problem, empathize with all of them involved, and also be assuring to the media, we will get back to you with more on this. I don't think any media wants to attack anybody immediately. But yes, we do agree with the fact that there is sensationalism. We want to grab eyeballs. We want headlines. But if you go silent, what is the answer? That's not a shield, right?
I would say there are also times we do not react. Silence also is a message.
Maybe in corporate. Unfortunately,
I will
media
not-
doesn't work that way.
I will just tell you, I'm coming from Northeast Shillong.
Okay.
We in the college introduced college uniform. Those of us from Northeast, fashions, especially one side. So there were a lot of write-ups it was very shocking to see a central Meghalaya state daily when the budget session of the state is going on. The main headline in the paper is St. Anthony's College Shillong introducing uniform. I mean, that shows the focus of the media. That's fine. So we as a college had decided that we will not react. There were a lot of reasons given. Creativity will go if uniform comes in, etc. Our reason was we want to make the poor and the rich look alike. That was only reason. So not necessary that you always have to respond. Silence is also a response.
Okay, great. I mean, yeah.
Sir, I understand what you're trying to say. Silence is good. But in today's world, if you're silent, it doesn't work. And that
The
is
damage is
problem.
already done.
You lose the narrative. You lose the narrative. And the issue we're talking about over here is who builds the narrative first. When you lose that narrative, there is this void. And that void is filled by somebody else. So while it's good to say, I'm not going to say anything about it, you're getting hit, you're getting damaged. And we're not saying to fight with someone, but you have to put your point out there. By remaining silent, outside people are going to think something is wrong. You're doing something wrong, even though you're not doing something wrong. You have to come out with statements or speak about something, like we will talk about that, which has everything. A part of it with empathy, a part of it with fact, a part, it's divided in such a way that when someone out there either hears it or listens to it, they will like, okay, you know what? I understand why they are doing this. But remaining silent, especially in today with Instagram, with X, with 24/7 TV, which wants updates by the minute, not by the hour and not of the day. Digital media, if you remain silent, you're lost.
So today, I think, our designations will speak for ourselves. We are journalists, but today we have not come here to do a story, to build a narrative. In fact, we have come here as communication strategists. We are on your side for the next 1 hour. We're going to actually tell you what is that actionable toolkit that you can use. It could be anybody at whatever top level you are, to the frontline workers, on how exactly should you really handle media or address the media for that matter if you are faced with a dire situation. Now that's what this toolkit is all about.
We call the mic, yes.
The Catholic Church has a style of handling issues. As Father said, sometimes we are keeping quiet. If we keep on speaking, for Kandamal issue, we have to stand on only in media. For Manipur issues, and we cannot end up with all these issues. And recently 2 sisters in Kerala only happened. All this, do you feel it that we keep on talking to this problem will come to an end?
I think the toolkit will talk about it.
Yes, we'll come back to this because we are going to speak about this towards the end. We have this and we'll tell you why it's important that you have to speak and why it's also important not to keep silent.
And too many voices also sometimes gives confusion.
That's
why there should be a representative.
Very true.
In Karnataka, we have such a system where one person speaks, it's not all of them. Either it's the Archbishop or the PRO. So that's why we have got a system that all should not speak. It's not a subjective as such. It's an objective. So that's why it should be in a subjective way.
So very, very true. And that's why we are actually talking about this. But how that person speaks, how fast that person speaks, that person can't wait for 2 days. That person can't wait for hours. So all those things are very important. We're going to talk about that.
So the sacred toolkit that we're talking about, we have devised a plan. It's called the Sacred Actionable Toolkit. If you can take the people.
So sacred, S-A-C-R-E-D. Strategize, assemble, communicate, respond, evaluate, and document. I'll repeat that again. Sacred, strategize, assemble, communicate, respond, evaluate, and document.
Yes. So as far as the sacred toolkit is concerned, is going to be your ready reckoner for any kind of either local allegations or for a national media storm, for that matter. Now, here's why you need this presentation that we have brought to you. We're talking about strategize here, Nolan?
Yes.
Okay, great. So strategize. As one of you all were pointing out, talking about, I think 2 people here pointed out there were in many scenarios, there are many voices, but not unified one, right? As far as strategize is concerned, you're going to designate a spokesperson. And I think this is a protocol, though it is written, but I don't think it's followed anywhere. So as far as, when you identify at least about 2 to 3 spokespersons, credible individuals, it could be a senior principal, communication savvy priest, or a trusted leader, that one single voice will have to send out the communication to media. And they are going to be the only one point of contact, only one voice, right? The second thing that we're looking at is you have to form a crisis communication team. We're going to actually bring in a few examples of ourselves where we have reported, where, you all have told me about that one voice, but we have had multiple voices. That's called off-the-record voice. That's how we report. Within your institution, you were talking about we blame the media. Media does not want to label you. Within your institution, there are people to leak information. Please understand that. Nobody wants to jump in today, tomorrow, and let's attack them. Who are they to us? We want a headline. We want something sensationalism. I agree with all of y'all. But who gives us that? Y'all feed us. Nobody else. So that's what I'm talking about, strategize. More importantly, conduct media training. Y'all are talking today about media, pointing fingers at media. Why don't you all have that role reversal within your institutions? Teach each one of them. Because, for example, there is some news about a church vandalism. Nolan and I would go to that institution. Who are we meeting first? The security guard. Has he been sensitized? What does he do? Shuts the gate. What's the next headline? The head does not want to talk. So you have to sensitize at every level. You have to play that media, role reversal. Try and teach them how to, in fact, answer the media. Not at all levels that people will have to talk to media, but at least at every level, how should they respond? How should they behave? Now that's what gets you the story. You want to talk about Assemble?
I want to, but before that, just a point I need to add. When you spoke about conduct media training,
yes,
the armed forces have mock drills. So mock drills, do institutions conduct mock drills in case of, say, an allegation of conversion, an allegation of abuse, an allegation of anything? Anyone over here, any of the institutions or representatives, have you all conducted mock drills? In case an incident takes place, this is your role, this is your role, this is your role. Has anyone done that? Because, like you mentioned, one person to speak, the PRO, yes. But when your institution is under the scanner of the media, you are there first. You're responding to that. So, I just want to know, has anyone conducted mock drills over here? Please.
If you can try and explain what that was.
I'm from Moderator College, Kolkata. The IQC coordinator and myself are here. When we had that incident on RG Kaur Hospital, so we had taken up a rally, and before that we had to do that. We had to come together, about 6 of us, we were in a team, and we had few meetings. And during that meeting, we decided who will talk and what is going to be our press release. We want to, say, actually we consulted our lawyer also, because we are girls' college and we are in the center of the city. And before Xavier's, we took a walk first. We went for a walk first. So we decided who will say what and what's going to be on the flyer, and lawyer helped me a lot those days.
No, this is very good, but I also want to know, this is excellent, but do you all do this on a regular basis? Do you all conduct these mock drills on a monthly basis? Because see, in today's times, Mangalore is known for model policing. Yeah. There are dime a dozen cases taking place over here. Our college is ready.
For every program that we have, because we are in the city and we get a lot of media notice, newspaper as well as media coverage. So we have a team, media team, and there are personals among our staff about who will say for the media, say a channel maybe, yes, and who will do with the writing, and we have a team actually.
That's a very good
We have a team,
nice.
Yes, we have a team. Not all of us talk, not all of us communicate, and there is a very strict policy we have. Yes,
Lovely.
yes.
Anybody else over here? That's one among I think what, 100, 150 of you all here? Anybody else?
We have one.
See, I'm Father Anthony from Kerala, and in our region what we have is Jagrata Samiti, that is connected to KCVC. So whatever happens in any of the institutions, what we usually do is connect it to KCBC. And for example, recently we have now what is happening is hijab issue is going on. So what is happening is we have a team, we have a WhatsApp group, and only those people who are included in that WhatsApp group should give media the message. And it's not just one message, because what happens in Kerala, there are many channels. So each channel will be calling somebody to talk on behalf of the Catholic Church, but there may not be the persons who are representing Catholic Church.
Authorized.
Yeah. So automatically what happens, if we are away from that and them, we assume that Catholic Church is saying like that, but in reality it is not. So there are a team of people who are capable of talking to the media, and slowly we are building it up. So in each diocese, there is a person, there is a team working on as Jagrata Samiti.
Okay, great. So the assemble that we were talking about, right? Verifying facts internally. When you are faced with a situation, you verify facts internally. And then what do we know so far? What are the allegations? And in fact, you have to get your internal story right. Like I was talking to somebody here, addressing someone, where they went on to talk about that media rights headlines. I would also like to say that it's important, I mean, it's your decision, it's your discretion whether everyone in the institution should be made aware of the situation or not. But when they're not made aware, there are chances of leak to happen for the media. So it's very important to take your institution, to take all people into confidence and be able to address the story within your own institution. So that's more important. And also, like I did talk about, prepare your holding statement, right? When you get your internal story right, when you address your own institution, what's your next step? That is, of course, to go to the media. You prepare your holding statement. What is the statement going to be like? What are you planning to address? Now, these are certain points that you need to remember. And of course, there is a way to come around as far as media is concerned. Yes, media can be in terms of, trying to get in more information, but you don't have to be on the defensive side. You don't have to be on a defensive side. All you have to do is be very nice and calm in a way to say that we are looking into this, we are investigating, allow us some time to come back on it. Rather than saying, no comments, you have a headline.
I'm going to take the next one, which is C, which is communicate.
Yes.
And it's following up from that. It's empathy first. I want to respond to, I think, Sir who had asked me about silence. Yes, it's empathy first, facts next. And I'll tell you why. You are acknowledging the concern and not the guilt over here. I'm going to give you some examples. We have written this. So, just for an example, the focus is on you first acknowledge, then you empathize, the action taken, you promise updates, and you choose your channels. I'll give you an example. Say we are deeply concerned about these allegations, whichever allegations, and the well-being of all involved. Okay? Point one. We are investigating this matter with the utmost seriousness. You can remain silent. You can decide to remain silent, but you can also come out with a statement like this. How it works. You're acknowledging, we are aware of the incident. You have told them that. You're empathizing. Your primary concern is the well-being of those people. You're also telling them the action that's being taken. You're saying we have initiated a thorough internal process and we are working with the law enforcement agencies. You're also telling them that we are respecting the law of the land. You're promising updates. We'll get back to you when we have more information. And most important, you have to know where to put this out. Don't wait. You might have a PRO, which is very good. One person speaking about it. But that PRO cannot, and this is what we have dealt with. a story has broken in Bengaluru. I do not want to mention the type of story it happened. We have waited for 24 hours for the church to get back to us, the church PRO. By that time, they have lost the narrative. News channels have only been speaking to one side. You're saying why channels are one-sided? If the church is not going to speak or the institutions are not going to give anything or any substantive information, I'm only going to speak to this person who's willing to give me a soundbite. I'm only going to speak to the parents who are coming out with these allegations and say whichever organization, because the church has locked its gate. The institution has locked its gate. However, like I said, remaining silent is good, but if you come out with something like this, you have put your point across, and you've also, you've been very, very nice. There's empathy, there's facts. You have not lost the game over there.
You're still giving an opportunity to media to interact. That's all that we're saying. Rather than shutting them away and watching the show. That's the problem that's happening, we're looking at. And as he spoke about communication, we're looking at responding. How do you respond to a situation like this when you're faced with something as controversial, as sensitive as this? We're talking about, in fact, sticking to the verified facts. I'm sure you will do your internal investigation, get the story right, that's more important, and then you are going to communicate and respond to the media. Yes, of course, media is going to ask you questions like I have told you earlier, reiterating here. All that you have to do is, you have to be able to at least tell them that I do not have this information at the moment, we will get back to you. Or it is a part of investigation, is also definitely a very powerful and a very reasonable answer. Because you have communicated something to media. You have not been hostile. That's more important. Having the rapport with media is more crucial for y'all because you are being questioned, you are the headline. So you can definitely not shut media away. Yes, they do carry headlines, like I did point out. Of course, to some extent, there are hidden, what we have to talk about, the hidden agendas. We're talking about people who are leaking information from within institutions. So those are kind of things that generate headlines for y'all. And then if you come across any allegations, correct the misinformation. Ensure you, from your end, you stop spreading that information, but at the same time, be able to give some information and also be able to defend why you are defending such an information. So that's more crucial than saying no comments.
Evaluate. Now, before I go to evaluate, I just want to, just focus on what we have gone through so far. Very simple. Oh, okay, Father.
I have one pertinent question. See, there is a lot of media investigation is going on. So some of our institutions, be it schools or colleges, we are not answerable to media. We are answerable to the department. But media people coming with their own hidden agenda, asking questions, and we are not answerable to them. We are supposed to answer to the department.
So when you say department, the police?
No. Education department, be or maybe higher education department. We are answerable to them. We need not give the report to the media. And most of the media people coming into the institutions just to threaten us or maybe extract some money. That is the main thing that we face in our own institutions.
See, if it's a law and order issue, you have to deal with the police. That's perfectly all right. But when questions are asked, and you know it's like something which you can answer, don't say no comment as such. Say that whatever we have to answer, we have an education department, let's do that, because this is the quote they will use. Again, if you say no comment, that will go out there. And no comment, remember, Father, perception is very important outside. No comment always shows that you're hiding something. I'm not saying say something, but say something which has both facts, but also telling them to, back off. No comment just doesn't work. You have to play it very smart because sometimes the media is going to be biased.
Because the media will tend to dig more information underneath the no comments. Yes.
I would like also to share one interesting incident that happened here with Father Stan Swami. We have got a Stan Swami park here, not in this campus, in another campus of ours. And when that incident broke out, I was in Delhi. I was with the local MP then, and he was helping me out for the university, and he was so furious. He asked me this question, I never knew. I am helping you and you are doing something against us. And what was your answer? I immediately told him, yes, we will come out, and there are answers. Father Stan Swami is a Jesuit, and we would like to have it inside the campus. And we responded continuously. A number of calls that Father Rector received and I received, we responded to every call and said that we will investigate, and we also empathize with you, and they were quite good to us. But later on, as you said, it's all internal leak. It was not done by RSS at all. It was done by Catholics. The students inside, they had something against the institution, so they thought if they can do it against the institution through these Bajrangis or RSS, the institution will never doubt them. This is what has happened, and it has happened several times in many of our institutions. We think it is the others who are trying to trouble us rather than the internal people itself. Those who think that with us itself there is some anger, something against us, they also play the trick. That is where I would like to supplement what you said. And this was the incident we really went through and came out successfully. And those who would like to see that Stan Swami Park is still existing, we didn't budge, we empathized with them, we continued, and still we have got a park which is going on, and they have stopped troubling us anymore.
Father, this is fantastic. I'll tell you why. Two things a takeaway from this. One is there was this conversation. You didn't say no comment, I'm not going to speak about this. You actually had a dialogue with them, and this is what we're trying to say. That was a crisis moment which you all managed. Second thing is, in every institution you will have leaks. People are from the institutions itself going to go and speak outside. And that's one of the reasons why you have to have these mock drills. Because if you have these mock drills, you can come out with so many different scenarios, plan different scenarios. In case this happens, what will we do? What will this person's role be? What will that person's role be? Mock drills is like numero uno priority. I think they should have started yesterday, but if it can start now, it would be fabulous. One person, like you stated, the person behind, like the PRO speaks, but every individual must have a mock drill.
We are going to come up with more examples of our own reportage, our own experiences, how we reported those stories. In fact, we did, of course, have big headlines, I must tell you.
All right, I'm going to evaluate. Check. Is this better? Without my... Okay, the next one is evaluate.
No.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll go on?
Please,
okay.
yes.
So when you evaluate after a crisis that has taken place...
Can I ask you, because you have been talking about this leaks here, I'm saying. You are continuously saying this leaks. I don't think it is leaked. It is the media who goes and pricks, so it leaks.
So yes, that's a very good point. At the CBI investigation, ED investigation, what happens? You want to get the truth, what do you do?
I'll tell you, since Father said...
Nobody plants a story there.
Exactly.
There is a way to get a story, and we are good at that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm saying...
What can we do?
You sensationalize, right?
Yeah, you
sensationalize.
I agree with it. I'm not saying no, but I'll tell you what. You were talking...
Let me just complete.
Okay.
Since Father Praveen said about First Annie's story, something similar that happened in Northeast, even I'm sure. See, the media is not interested from the PRO or the right source. They are interested what would sell. Yeah. So you go and prick, you means the media, okay, go and prick, get information that will sell more. Even when Father Stanley's issues took place, if there was a time when, let's say, one official party was giving a press conference justifying many things, and there was also a Jesuit version that was going on. But which channel, which media was really interested, the truth that is being said. So you plant a story because this is truth. This will not sell, will not grab headlines. So you go and, the media goes and pricks and gets what you need. Because you're telling about have strategy, but strategy also from the media side.
Absolutely. I really stand by that. Of course, we are not denying sensationalism. We are not denying grabbing eyeballs. It is there. It is happening. And of course, sometimes certain, forces of media are definitely driven in terms of agenda driven I'm talking about, they are corporate driven. So there are certain things. But of course, these, headlines that we are talking about are also in a way supported, because you cannot really come up with your own imagination, because of course tomorrow you can file a defamation case if that's not true.
But
Right?
Sreeja, there's an answer to this.
Yeah.
In our sacred self, evaluate. And that's what I was coming to. This will give you an answer. You use tools to figure out what has happened. Now, for example, Father, you spoke to the media, you spoke to the MP, Brijesh Chauta, on this issue. Fine. Suppose you spoke to the media and the media has not, I'm talking about the TV, television media, they have not taken your soundbite and they have not played it properly. Today, please understand how many people are actually watching TV channels. Which is the most powerful medium today? It's not your newspapers, it's not your TV channels per se, it's social media. And every institution or institutions per se can use social media if the TV does not take your stance or your comments. Social media is very powerful.
And social media today, in fact, they do call out news channels. They do call out journalists. They say that this is the story while I gave, this is the statement that I gave. It's been misconstrued. I mean, nobody really stops you as far as to use your own tool. Of course, if you see that something has been twisted and agenda driven, I'm sure to some extent you, of course, can go out in terms of using your own social media tools to be able to communicate to the larger audience.
But do you all use that?
Are you all allowed to use that? Oh, you're not? Okay, that's bad. If you're allowed to use it and not using it, that's very bad.
Maybe you can ask them. How many of them make use of?
Yes. How many of you all use? You're being very vocal. Yes.
Somebody raised their hand behind. Do you all use social media?
You use social media to communicate what?
Not about admissions. We are talking about when a crisis
Not happy
hits.
Christmas. No.
All
Merry
happy
Christmas.
business. We communicate all the happy business.
Oh, happy business.
Merry Christmas, yeah. But no, when a crisis takes place. Yes, please. The mic please, over there. Social media is very powerful, extremely powerful.
Yes, we do use social media, especially when there's a headline which talks in terms of crisis. There are comments that keep coming. People write various comments. And for me personally, more than reading the news, I'll read the comments, what people are saying. So it's there where we ping and we say certain things. For example, currently I'm in Bangalore. Now this is something to do with the public transport. I mean, Bangalore traffic is horrible. And auto rickshaws, they make the best use of their customers because they cheat you wholesale if you don't book an Ola or an Uber or things of that sort. Like there are times where we have tweeted on X or on LinkedIn or even on Facebook or Instagram, and people keep commenting on a lot of things. So you get to know also what people are saying and what our perspective is. This is just an example, but we do that, yes.
No, that's good. But in a crisis situation, do you all use social media?
Yes, because last time 2 sisters were arrested in MP, the ASMI sisters. And when that event happened, actually, I'm from Christ University. I'm currently studying there. So when this kind of things happened, we came together, even in social media platforms, even from the university, even otherwise. It was like we joined hands together to comment and to, voice out our solidarity with those sisters. We did that.
Okay.
That is what is necessary.
I would like
Yes.
to
In
share
fact,
something.
media does pick from social media your statements.
Yeah.
I
Go
just
ahead.
want to share the recent event, what happened with the Moderator sisters in Darjeeling. So we had a boarding school, and after that we decided to increase more section in each classes. So even the nuns decided to move out of that building to the downhills. So this became a big news, international news, because our past peoples are all over. We are 180 years old school. So it was mainly in Facebook actually. So the provincial, what we decided in the province consulted team, immediately we consulted a lawyer. And since it was in the Facebook, so we got the letter ready and we uploaded it in the Facebook. Okay. And we got good response after that, and problem was solved, and the building is going on.
Okay.
In the same hill, same slope.
This is what we are talking about. You have actually,
yes.
you didn't react to a situation, you were proactive.
Yes. So that's what we're talking about. Don't be defensive. Don't wait for a situation to happen for you to react, but rather be proactive. Maintain that constant momentum with the media as well. But of course, if there comes a time that you really need to defend yourselves, but do verify your facts and come with that particular statement. Yes, after Nolan, what he said, evaluate, you have something called document. Once all of this has happened, which is your sacred, the last of it is document. Document what has happened. How did you all respond to it? Where did you all go wrong? Now that will give you an idea how to react the next time a situation occurs. Now this, as far as the sacred is concerned, in fact, we are talking about the call to action as far as all these key points that we have suggested, as far as strategize, assemble, communicate, respond, evaluate, document, all of these key points. How are you planning to, in fact, attend to a crisis situation when it hits you all? So the call to action is going to be, of course, silence is not your shield. Silence is not your shield. For media, that is an answer. That means you are guilty, you are hiding, you have something underneath. So silence is definitely not an answer to anything as far as any communication or sensitive news, as you say, that's been actually blown out of proportion.
Sreeja, before we actually go to the next section, the examples, I'm just going to come out with one of my favorite, this is modeling that you call, or
which one?
Mock drill. Okay,
Yes,
let's use
the
the word mock drill. I want to know from some of you all, what would you do in such a situation? The bishop's house is far away, the PRO is far away, this is just your institution. Let's take a case of, I would say, an allegation of conversion has taken place in your university or your college. Say, for example, this college itself. I was told there are, 12 gates over here? 12 gates. So how many security personnel? 12? 12. Okay, 12 security personnel. Now, I'm not sure if they're trained or not trained. There's an allegation that's come out of some kid being, the teacher is trying to convert that kid through various means. This incident takes place, say, in the evening. The very next day, the university does not hear about this. Okay, it's just the kid goes home, tells the parents this has happened. It's not in anyone's control over here. The parents go and speak to whoever. Now,
the neighbors,
in a place like
circles, yes.
a place like Mangaluru, to various organizations. I would not want to mention which organization. Various organizations. Next morning, members of the organization are outside your university. Security guards are not trained, 12 gates, they enter. What happens next? Vandalism. Second thing is, they will actually head to the class where that particular teacher is. See, these are allegations. They'll head to that class where the teacher is. Teacher's life is at risk, bodily harm. The students in that class are also at risk because anything could happen. The principal is at risk because the next group goes over there. Now, in a situation like this, what would you do? Father, since I gave this university as an example, what would you do in such a situation? I want to hear from you all because this has happened multiple times and we have been there reporting. We have been there outside and we have been there inside with members of those organizations reporting, and we have seen firsthand what happens, Father.
Yeah, I have experienced this kind of thing recently with the Rama Janmabhoomi day. 10 of my students came with shawls and the security sent them because they were not trained that well. There are 12 gates, as I told you. They came from another gate where the weak security, because that gate not many people come. So they came with the gundas, with the rickshaw drivers and Fortunately, meanwhile, I had a president, student council president. He's seen them coming from that gate, somewhere he had gone for some work. So he comes running to my office, "Father, run away from here. They're coming to trouble you, chase you," and they're all angry. I didn't know what to do, of course. Immediate resort is prayer. This is not an answer to your question, but this is an incident that happened about 2 years ago. And they all walked in with the gundas straight away my office, and immediately the students came in first and the others waiting there outside. So I asked the students in English, what was the matter? They kept silent. I said, "You came from the gate, I heard, and you were sent because this is an institution, this is not a temple here. You would have gone there, I would come along with you.
You're right.
And this is not a place to showcase these kind of things at St. Aloysius." Immediately they kept mum again for my good luck. And I said, "I will walk with you." They said, "Father, don't come, we will go. We'll never do it again." And the rickshaw drivers and others, gundas, were standing there. I asked them in Tulu, "What do you want?" "No, I don't know. The students called us and there was a chaos. That's why we came to support them. You said in English, we didn't follow anything. They are going, we'll also walk away." Then immediately after 10 minutes, the media people come running to my office saying that we came to know that this is the incident and what is your response? I said, "See, definitely we are not prepared for it and I don't like to respond to you immediately because this incident is already solved and I don't want you to report it wrongly tomorrow to media. My request to you is the problem was this, but I have solved it. I request you don't put it across." And they did that, they respected. But then incident like this, what is the situation should be for a guard is also immediately to have the communication with the person immediately and to the police. Because otherwise there is a vandalism. The legal course has to be taken. If they are not informed, if they do not know what is the course of action to be taken, then there is a chaos. Like this incident, they were not prepared. So they knew that from the main gate there are more security guards, but one weak point that found out in the incident and in the institution, and they came from that. And that guard was not prepared. So we had prepared, let's say, one main gate guards we had prepared. And they thought the incident was solved. Whereas this happened from another guy. In the sense, we need to prepare all the guards and all the security personnel to communicate immediately this incident. And this has not happened, so they faced the problem, but fortunately got solved also amicably.
Father, okay, this is good. You spoke to the media, but my question is now a counter question. What if you had mock drilled this?
Exactly.
What if you had mock drilled this? A similar situation. I've just come out with this idea.
A hypothetical
that
situation.
all your security guards are trained. Something like this happens, the gates are shut first. Second, the people who are responsible, not just senior lecturers, teachers, but also students are brought into this. They are your eyes and ears when something happens over here. They are very important. Information comes from them. What if you had all this in place? How would it have changed things for you?
Definitely. That would have changed a lot because they are also aware of it.
Yes.
The situation, because they are not aware of it. I think that is what you are saying. I definitely agree with you. Many of our institutions, we have not done this, and regular mock drills and awareness, even we have got journalism departments and communication departments, they are not doing it. We are only having a policy and keeping quiet with that rather than doing these mock drills. I do agree we need to respond.
Okay.
More important not to keep your own people in the dark.
Yes.
Yes.
I need some more responses with this hypothetical
How would you
situation.
respond to it? The sacred protocol that we have just told you, the actionable kit, how would you respond to a situation like this?
Over there.
Father Anthony is there. Father Anthony.
I think we need to put the camera first.
No, it's important.
No, because where if we have the cameras, then the possibility of coming and doing all these mischiefs will be coming down. Even among the students, even if they are doing something, provided our camera should be open, it should be live all the time.
One of the most important evidences, in fact.
Yeah.
So the camera is fine, but vandalism is going to take place. Vandalism will take place. The media will come.
Definitely.
People will get hurt.
definitely it will be there. But the problem is, if you have the camera and if you are calling the police, then things will be all right. They know they will be caught. The problem is, if there are no evidence, then they know they can do anything. If they are going to be caught, then they will not do anything. That is the experience. Over and above, they may be coming, as you said. For that, whatever he has said, whatever you have said, that is the answer.
See, we decided to have this very interactive. Only a few people are speaking over here.
Let's give another situation here.
Okay.
Very recent news. I'm going to also talk about the news anchor's language. Okay, so because it's going to be both of y'all. The party one there, the party two here, us.
One.
You want to?
Yeah, I want to say something.
Okay.
Our media department, day by day, number is becoming very less. It has become in a way endangered, and it may become extinct because students are also frightened. If you open your mouth, depends on which party you belong to. When the media people come, they will also come with the fringe elements, and police also may be along with them. So that way there is certain amount of fear is there to speak to the media. And I don't know whether they listen to us. They will listen whatever they like to listen, or maybe they have certain obligations and authority whom they have to report. So in that context, you may speak, but I don't know who will hear you, or your voices will be heard or not. It is a little doubtful. But one thing I'm sure is, you must know your subject well. Whether it is Ramayana or Mahabharata, whether a Bible or something else, when you know different versions, things will be good. That is my feeling and opinion.
We concur with it, of course. So the very recent scenario I'm going to talk to you about is the allegations of, forced conversions. This is very recent, especially in Jharkhand nun case, right? There was an anti-conversion allegation against them. Now, how media reported? Hypothetical I'm giving you here. Nun detained with 19 minors. Conversion fears raised by VHP. Okay, it's a hypothetical situation. I'm giving you a headline. And the news anchor language could also be in a way that the question everyone is asking, what was a nun doing with 19 children in the middle of the night? Right? You're putting the question on people's minds. Of course, you also want an answer, but you're also trying to trigger that in people who are, the viewers who are watching you or hearing you. And then you have the VHP claims, it has evidence of conversion racket. The local diocese has refused to comment, raising further suspicions. How would you respond? It's a live situation I gave you all. We have a headline already.
Respond. Please respond.
Can I say?
Yes, absolutely.
One thing I think we as Christians and Catholics, we are very poor at data. Very poor at data. I mean, as Father said, suppose they were to show, this is what we do, these are the records that we have, these are the students who entered into us, let's say, as one group of faith, and they return as another group of faith, having experienced all that. So that data is lacking. So that is where we can say this is what we do, but others may have counter proofs which are leaked as you have. So that is one thing that we fail at.
How do you fix it?
So that we'll have to review our own systems to have documentations and have data correctly.
Okay, great. Anybody else?
Those who are not asked any question, please.
Yeah, over there, the mic.
So this is hypothetical, but the first thing that I would do is understand the law that minors cannot be with individuals. So get the parents of those children to come out and give letters, call somebody from the news channel, and then speak to them, to the parents. And, I think also I wanted to make a statement and say that you need to have someone in the media which is yours, some PR. And for us, like I teach in a girls' college, we have our students as people who work in the media, who are news reporters. So anytime we need something and we call them, we have a relationship with them. So that way also we work with, so before it comes out.
You were talking about the relationship, the rapport that you build with the media. Could you also tell us what would your response be if media poses those questions to you, how would you respond?
No, so since I know the law that as long as parents are involved, a stranger can be with 19 children and nobody has a right to question me, I would ensure that I would make sure that evidence was played and put it out through the media. So I think sometimes we need to understand the law as well, what is in our favor, and not be afraid of what is going there. Because
Great. I absolutely agree with you, but there's just one point that you have to note, because this news can quickly go like a wildfire, right? I mean, I'm talking about whether that is somebody within your institution leaking information, or it could even be the police giving us information. So we are always on the run waiting to get your statement. The only question is, would you issue a statement immediately? And what would that statement be? How would you react to the media when the media got a headline, this is what we found out? Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, there is.
An incident takes place and they spoil our name of the institution. When we come to know, we also give counter arguments in the paper. In spite of that, the second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, continuously they come and attack.
Yes.
Then we were trying to give a complaint to the police station, but they don't take our complaint. And we began to give in the online this one, they don't bother. Then we filed a case. The case is still going on, but they are still agitating. If you know some politicians in your side, you could influence and get out of the problem. If you don't have any influential person in the ruling party or in the opposition party, we are going to be a failure. And if you don't have proper relationship with the ruling party, however we are good and honest, and whatever paper statement you give, in all levels they block and they try to put us down. What
do we do?
I have an answer for this. How many institutions over here really try and build a relationship with reporters? Christian reporters? Non-Christian reporters? Do you all just call them over during Christmas for tea? Or do you all meet? That is normal. Do you all actually build a network, coordinate with them on a regular weekly basis, or only remember them during Christmas? Does anyone here deal with the media, reporters, build a network with them on a regular basis, every week?
Ma'am, if you could tell me your experience. You were talking about, you just lifted your hand. Building that relation.
I just want to respond.
You want to respond, okay.
Whatever be the kind of relationship that we build upon, in the moment of crisis, they will not support. They won't sensationalize the issue. Only then they may respond thereafter. The first instinct is to sensationalize it and put us in.
Not necessary, Father. I'll tell you why. If you build a rapport with them, they would have to maybe sensationalize it, but you will get prior information before something happens.
Yeah, that is there.
That is one. Early warning. It's like an AVAX. You will get information before something's going to happen because they have sources. And you have built a network, a cordial relationship with them. Point one. Point two, even if they are sensationalizing it, they will make sure that over a period of time the story goes. Or it's,
because the minute that we get the information, we come to you saying we have this information, right? But if you want to get on the defensive mode, what happens is that becomes the headline.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because we want to know what do you want to say about it. Then we say, the so-and-so person says this is not true. That's going to be your headline.
But no one answered my question. How many of you all actually, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that this is a worst case scenario in which there is no support available around.
Yes.
Of course, lobbying, having a good PR, all those things are necessary. You have to do a safety net kind of a thing has to be there. But in this particular hypothetical example that you gave, the anchor has already created a narrative, right? Sowed suspicions in the minds of the audience.
The anchor created I'll just give you that. He gave the narrative, the anchor gave the narrative after not getting a response from the church.
Correct. So that's the thing. So what could be the immediate response, right, would be to create a counter narrative, because a nun being with 20 minors definitely has a context. It might be an excursion, it might be something that the institution is doing as an ongoing thing, right? There is a context to why those students are there. Instead of giving one point response, right, that okay, no, this is true or this is false, right? We need to set the context, which means we need to create a narrative and say that, see, this is what we are doing, this is what we are engaging in. We are engaging in forming children, and of course, a nun will be there with the children. And that's our business. I mean, in the sense, we are involved in education, right? We are involved with small kids. That's a larger context, larger narrative that we need to build instead of just denying or affirming a certain allegation. Right? I mean, this is the power of narrative. Knowing fully well that there are people out there to attack us. Knowing fully well that there are people who will block us, but still we need to be proactive and, I mean, as I said, be aware of, okay, how do we respond in such a situation knowing that people are going to block us? What are the paths, what are the channels available for us that we need to mobilize and put a counter narrative out there? And this has to be an ongoing process. It should not just be a response to a crisis, but what's the story of our institution? What's the story of yesterday? It was very interesting. Praveen was telling that contribution of Catholic education institutions was not reflected in NEP. Where is that narrative, right? So we need to be more proactive and put out our narrative, right, to the forefront.
So it begins from y'all.
Yeah.
It begins from y'all. So rather
Sreeja,
than...
don't you suppose he has actually spoken about the toolkit?
He did.
The entire toolkit is what he has actually told us.
Being proactive, and I think it all begins from y'all. And so this was one scenario. We have another scenario where I'm going to bring in. Do you want to talk about the attack? Your experience? Okay, let me begin with my own experience, where we reported. I'm sure everybody is aware of Franco Mulakal case. So I reported extensively from the start till the finish, and there were several people who, of course, different varied versions did come up. And I'm sure every one of y'all how it actually became a huge controversy, not just in Kerala, but it blew out of proportion, but it did see the light of the day. We were not actually given information at all. Yes, the nun did come out, did talk about these allegations. There were a few of them supporting here, but there was a time where, you know, I'm talking about this Kottayam, the convent, where some of them, the sisters were not allowed to come out because all the media, you know, people camped right there, right outside that particular gate. Yet we did give breaking news. How? Sisters were in fact phoning us and giving the information. We did have biggest of headlines.
There is somebody.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
So as a principal, I know I walk like other principals a tight line, a tightrope line. It could be a conversion issue. It could be abuse on campus. It could be death on campus.
Yes.
And without standing operating procedures, without live CCTV records, and without loyalty, like, you know, the situation which you speak of, that you get the information. I do remember as a faculty getting phone calls, and all I could do is, you know, because it was coming in Hindi, this was death on campus, and I said, "Hum hamare institution ka namak khaya hai, mujhe phone mat karo." But they would relentlessly call, you know, and all we could wait for, with a lot of court cases, adjournments, everything. This happened about 27 years ago. All we could wait for is wait for the truth to come out. Until then, you just suffer. But yes, the Xavier board does have good lawyers. What we need to do, as you said, is now have good reporters, standard operating procedures, and cameras on all the time.
Absolutely. Anyone else want to voice your opinions? Yes.
I have a doubt. See, I'm running an institution with requirements of government. We are fulfilling all the needs of the government and everything. In the morning, maybe we have a problem with a watchman who would have scolded for leave and all. So he had some anger on us. He will leak out the problem. You educators come. What do you think of in that way? We have to feed your hypothesis. For your hypothetical question, we need to feed the answer. Sometimes I feel it is stupid for us that to answer you. And during the nuns, and we always have work with the children. We have to educate them. Sometimes they are not well. We have to be with them, especially when we are working with villages, interior places, hilly places. They sleep with us. And the media never look at that. But something happened at that particular point. You forget all the histories, past, everything. And the point what happened, you give a big question on the mind of the public. It really hurts us. What is the reason behind it? Also, I have a question. You make a human error, machine error. Do you accept it?
I think, no, I have an answer for that. But, okay, fine. So I'll give you a personal experience, my personal journey. I did 14 years of hardcore investigative journalism. My last proper stint of what you were talking about, do you question, right? As far as corruption running in the corridors of power, do you bring people accountable? That's more important. So I did up until NDTV, until the saga that happened. So I came back to Times. So on a very, very different profile, which is, of course, anchoring. And then strategic partnerships, what I'm talking about is I work with not just the governments, but also with MNCs, with any individual that really wants their message to be sent out. Now, you did talk about, do you accept the human error? And because I, as an individual, accepted there is an error, I'm on the other side. I took a step back. Because, of course, I didn't have the platform, I didn't have the place to voice until I voiced. So yes, I accept. But not really everybody accepts, but there are people, there are journalists who do accept. Some of them have come out of it. They call themselves as independent journalists, right? They are surviving. Now, how do you handle a situation to the question that you asked? Don't you really think of the fact that, doesn't it hit you that you are peddling wrong information? I think it does.
See, for many journalists, their conscience does hit, but many of them, it's sustenance, they have commitments, and that's the reason they are still over there. I know so many of my colleagues who would want to leave, especially TV journalism. They have families, they have children, so they still have to work. Like everyone over here, your staff, maybe they want to quit, but they have no option because commitments. Many can take a chance, they go out, they leave. It's a difficult life. But the point is, again, I want to come back to what we're talking about. You said, why did the media forget about all those things? And that's the job, that's your job. That's the job of your PRO, your team, to remind the media, yes, this all happened, but we have, for the past so many years, done this, we have done that. You have to keep reminding the media.
Be also very socially active. Because everybody gets today news at just a snap of a finger, mobile phone, right? I mean, even news channels do pick up some information from the Twitter itself, from the social media. Yes. you fear the media.
Yeah, we should not have that feeling. Even the police station, police your friend. So media should have that attitude. We should speak about the truth sometime, no? If not every time, at least sometime.
Very good point. Very good point. But I'm only saying that if only, such congregations did come up front and had this conversation with the media. The media cannot only be just one-way street, right? It cannot be asking you questions, attacking you, waiting for a headline. It cannot be that. I'm also saying that why don't you call the media and sensitize them?
Yeah, you should be friendly. Media should be friendly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. I agree with that. But also try and sensitize them is all I'm saying. I don't remember anybody talking to me at all from any institutions. Trust me. Nobody has spoken to me from any institutions. Not once, except for Merry Christmas. Or when something happens. Sreeja, we issue the statement. Please carry it.
One last point, because we are running out of time over here. This is just a suggestion. Try and build a rapport, not just with journalists, with the police, politicians on either side. It can be the BJP, the JDS, the Congress. Build a rapport with them, not just once a year. The team that Sreeja spoke about, right, in the beginning, that you have a crisis communication team, assign each one a task. These are the people that you need to develop. How the police develop their sources, individuals in the crisis communication team have to develop their sources as well. From politicians to the media to the police and throughout, you have to network like crazy. This will keep you safe before, during and after a crisis. If you do this, you start today, in the next 6 months, you will see these changes taking place. But if you don't do these things, you will only be reacting whenever something happens.
See, all that we're trying to say is, even if out of 10 journalists, right? I mean, not everybody is going to attack you if you build this kind of confidence. There's something called the confidence building, the rapport, right? Not all of them are going to turn on you, but there will be somebody who will really want to bring that truth out. So all that we are saying is build that with journalists. Try and build. You cannot control somebody's behavior. You cannot control somebody's mind. You do not know today. You may want to really give out that right information, but no, you really don't have an answer whether is that what is going to be printed? Is that what is going to be telecasted, right? But at least you do have some journalists on your side to actually go and tell the truth.
It is almost time. It is almost time. One last question. Anybody else? Yeah, one.
Just I want to say one point. That is, networking is very, very important. First and foremost, you did not sleep us at all. Very good, excellent facilitation process you undertook. First point I would like to say, networking is very important. We have very strong. We are also working with the Hindus, Muslims, and BJP government, intelligence, police. And first they will ask us, what is the true facts? Do you have any testimonies? And when you put it across, most of the cases can be diluted and resolved and diffused. That first strategy. Second one I would like to suggest, not only the mock interview, let us look for long term, where we are able to recalibrate our young boys and girls to stand for truth and justice. And what is our education doing it? And we can do it, and we, instead of frightening ourselves or having fear complex developing into our education system, let's take a opposite strategy to fight back with our competency, courage, and truth. We are not
make it short.
Afraid. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Thank you.
Well, last question. Yes, last question.
Having heard a very good debate, I have been watching this media persons, journalists for last 10 years, that is from 2014, from Loyola College, Chennai. I have heard so many journalists have disappeared from this earth because they have spoken the truth. Many have gone behind the bars for standing with what is right, but many got promoted, got better media coverages because they stood with the majority.
This is the real situation where we are. And with this session, I think we need to call up to prepare our own journalists for our institutions. We need to have our own lawyers and our own PROs to have a greater fight, because the fear within what is created not by us but by the society is still creeping in us, and that controls more than the courage that comes out. And thank you for this session. Last question is, have you come across any challenge from politicians or bigger money controllers for giving the truth? Have you given out with courageously? That's my point, to listen the last.
We have. We give our information, what we have, but it's up to the channel. We are TV reporters, right? Or we were TV reporters. What we report, we send it to Delhi. But how Delhi actually plays it is not in our hands. We have no control over what happens over there. I can speak to you over here. You can give me a soundbite. I can speak to the next person. I will send everything to Delhi. But how ultimately in the night you see the story is what Delhi plays. And one of the reasons why many journalists have left TV journalism.
In fact, Nolan himself quit journalism and came back.
In 2022, I left TV after about 13
Put
years.
your hands together. Please put your hands together.
I mean, where do we go? Where do we go? NDTV was the last where I could really hold the mic and then question the power, somebody in power. But of course, some investigation led to something. That's why here I am.
Thank you. So when we look from a peripheral level, their life is so colorful and so charming. But then that is not the case. So put your hands once again, put your hands together.
No, trust me, if only we, I think, just somebody was pointing out to the fact that many, journalists have disappeared. Oh, trust me, there are a lot of journalists who want to come back to that, because who, took a step back, want to really come back to that, but situations are different.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being a wonderful audience.
Yeah, really an engaging session. I just want to thank everybody. So just remember one word, that is sacred. Sacred. Maybe we can recall sacred. First of all, strategize. Second, assemble. Third one, communicate, effective communication. Then respond. Fourth, evaluate and document. So just remember this mantra whenever we deal with media. Then we need to have a crisis communication plan. Remember to have a crisis communication plan. So my dear Sreeja and Nolan, thank you so much on behalf of all gathered here, on behalf of Xavier Board. Put your hands together and thank them. So not every difficult moment is a crisis, but every crisis is a test of credibility. The recent Kerala school uniform jihad controversy offers us a concrete, recent example of how quickly a seemingly internal policy issue can become a full-blown crisis. So let us explore how preparation can help us meet all these tests. May our institution always be known not just for how we teach and lead, but for how we speak and serve, especially when it matters most. I thank everyone. God bless. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Sreeja and Mr. Nolan, for making us think, for engaging the audience on pertinent issues which institutions face, and also for letting us know the protocols followed. Thank you to also Father Joseph for moderating this session wonderfully, and to all the inputs which we received from the audience. You've been wonderful. Thank you. I request Father Martin to present our moderator and our panelists with the mementos, please. Thank you very much indeed.